Welcome back. We've got some updates for the Phantasy Star TTRPG. These are from Skydawn Games' first Twitch stream, which went live from GaryCon Gaming Convention, and included Rich Lescaflair, the owner, writer, and developer for Skydawn Games, and Heather Ashcraft, the social media manager for the company. I've included a link to the recording in the description of this video. If you're interested in updates for Esper Genesis and Phantasy Star, check it out. It's just over an hour long. You get some really great insight to their experience in the gaming industry and their passion for the Phantasy Star games. I'm going to give the highlights of what they discussed in terms of Phantasy Star news. I mostly focus on new information, so some of the details they provided were things already confirmed before. If I skip over any of those already confirmed details, it's because they're things that I've already discussed on this channel. They confirm there's no business ties between Skydawn Games and Wizards of the Coast. They're using the free open source 5e SRD to design Phantasy Star, but that's the extent of any connection between the two companies. If you're not familiar with the SRD, it's a very basic version of the Dungeons & Dragons rules that anyone, including third-party companies, can use to design and develop their own role-playing games. Esper Genesis used these to be plug-and-play with 5th edition D&D, Phantasy Star takes it even further, and while it uses some of the core mechanics from Dungeons & Dragons, it more heavily modifies the rules and isn't really concerned with backwards compatibility. Rich stressed that he really wants this new role-playing game to feel like the Phantasy Star video games, and so he's not so focused on it working with other D&D content as he is with it really delivering on that Phantasy Star brand. In terms of backwards compatibility, D&D monsters and the enemies from Esper Genesis are primarily the easiest thing to mix into your game if you're interested in doing that. We can expect significant changes to character creation and character progress. When designing a D&D character, you select a race, you select a background, you select a class, and then based on those 3 decisions, you have a small amount of customizability for your character. And what you decide for those 3 major decisions is going to determine most of what your character can do. And anything you gain from leveling up is almost entirely determined by the class that you selected. With Phantasy Star, Rich wanted the characters to be more organic and have a lot more customizability so that you could really build any sort of character from the Phantasy Star universe. To accomplish this, Rich designed the profession and the origins, which includes your character's planet of origin, their culture, and their species, to all come with additional decision-making after you've selected one of each, and they're scalable, meaning that when your character levels up, it's not just their profession that determines what the character gains, but rather the decisions that you made about your character's origin will give you more options when your character levels up to decide how you want your character to grow. Your character will unlock special attacks based on the profession that they've chosen, and party members can combine their special attacks to trigger combo attacks. Combo attacks were introduced in Phantasy Star 4, and Rich was inspired by both Phantasy Star and Chrono Trigger when designing combo attacks for the TTRPG. Combo attacks allow these 2 characters to synchronize on the same turn in initiative and pull off a cool special attack together. The only species that was discussed was the android. It was confirmed that when android characters level up, there will be origin options to upgrade their hardware and uniquely customize those characters. With this initial release, we won't see some of the drastic upgrades that we see in Phantasy Star 3, like the character Ren being able to turn into a submarine or a jet that carries the entire party. Those upgrades may be available down the road if we see future releases for this game. And Rich also confirmed that both submarines and jets are available vehicles to characters. In Phantasy Star lore, magic is an innate ability that's primarily practiced and available to the Espers, and one of these Espers created techniques so that people without access to magic can still produce magical effects. As both magic and techniques essentially accomplish the same thing, there won't be a huge difference between magic and techniques in the TTRPG. Some professions will have access to magic points, others will have access to technique points, but these will largely function the same. The Esper profession will have some unique spells that other characters don't have access to. Possibly the biggest undertaking of writing the Phantasy Star TTRPG book is making sure that the lore is accurate. As somebody who's made a video focused on Phantasy Star lore, I can attest it's hard to find all the information that's out there. There's the video games themselves, there's scripts, those games' manuals, there's spin-off video games, there's books that were only released in Japan, and then there's comments that have been made over the years by the various developers and creators from the original games, and those interviews can be next to impossible to find, if not completely lost to time. And while Rich couldn't talk in great detail about where he's gathering all this information from due to the NDAs with Sega, he was able to confirm he's going through interviews that were done in non-English languages, and he has reached out to members of the original Phantasy Star team who are still with us today. The lore that will be provided in the core book, he's taken care to try and avoid stepping on the toes of canon, as he says, and so a lot of the information will be suggestions, providing options on how events might have unfolded that connect the games or historical events, and leaves it up to the storyteller to pick the pieces that they want or come up with their own ideas to tell their own unique stories. There will be information on important locations from the video games. There will be some suggestions on using religion in your story and its historical impact, but it doesn't sound like we're getting a lot of specific detail with it. It'll primarily be up to the storyteller to implement and develop further, and I wouldn't expect anything like a pantheon of deities in this game. In addition to monsters and adversary stats, the book will include rules to design your own enemies, and suggestions on how to design those enemies and make them feel like they belong in the Phantasy Star universe. Sadly, no stats for tickling giants.
Don't let them touch you!
And speaking of Phantasy Star 3, the two primary pieces of information that will be available in the book is info on the planetary star cruisers that set out from Palma, as well as suggestions on running a multi-generational game. An important aspect of Phantasy Star as a setting is that it takes place over many thousands of years. Rich wanted the TTRPG to have the option for characters to retire, pass the torch to their children, those children to grow up, and continue the epic quest over the course of history. For lore consistency, Monomate and Dimate will be the primary healing potions in the game, as opposed to burgers and cola from Phantasy Star 1. No, it's your game, so don't let that stop you. Presently, Sega has only confirmed licensing for the core book and the adventure The Search for Lavino. There was discussion about wishlist items, things that we're hoping to see in the future, but it's too early to plan on yet. This includes accessories like Phantasy Star dice and a Dungeon Master screen, individual books that focus on the classic series as a setting, Phantasy Star Online as a setting, a book for additional adversaries and monsters, and a virtual tabletop for playing the game online. If these also sound good to you, because they sound great to me, the best thing that you can do is pre-order the core book, as it shows Sega that there's a passionate following for this particular product and an interest in future products. They confirm that they're still anticipating a late summer release for the core book, and pre-ordering it will get you a physical and digital copy of it, as well as a digital copy of The Search for Lavino. If there's something else you want to see, Skydon Games has asked that you reach out to them and let them know. The best way to do this is through their Discord server, but you can also contact them through their website. Future updates that we can look forward to include the Phantasy Star FAQ on their website being expanded, a live stream demonstration with some play testing, and presence at future conventions. GaryCon Gaming was really the first stop on their convention tour, and by October of this year the core book will have been released, and Skydon Games will be running The Search for Lavino at Game Hall Con in Madison, Wisconsin, which is October 6th through the 19th. And I'm tempted to check that out myself. That's all I got for you. If you're enjoying updates on Phantasy Star TTRPG, like this video, and if you want to stay on top of everything, consider subscribing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And that's it. That's the show. So until next time, don't keep your pills with your pocket change.